discussion. Representative Marumoto,
Mr. Speaker, I am in opposition to this measure.
please proceed.
One of the things that this bill does is imposes a tax on pensions, pension income. And I realize that the Senate took the pensions out of their bill that they were dealing with, but it lives on in this measure. Earlier I was rejoicing because they had taken it out, but then it dawns on me that it is still alive as an issue. Our senior citizens are very apprehensive, and all those that are planning their futures are nervous. Military retirees are very wary. This bill will disrupt their financial planning and pull the rug out from under their lives. The legislature has seen the language of this measure in many forms since Governor Abercrombie first introduced his plan to tax pensions in his State of the State address. When this body first entertained the idea of taxing pensions, it was suggested that we tax individuals with an adjusted gross income as low as $37,500. And at the time, I called the idea almost cruel. Today, the measures before us taxes pensions at the threshold of $100,000 and higher to make the bill more palatable to retirees. However, my concerns remain the same, and they're best stated in the testimony provided by Mrs. Barbara Kim Stanton of AARP, American Association of Retired Persons, who said that this bill could be a foot in the door that will lead to taxing pensions of seniors at moderate and lower income levels sooner rather than later. If we pass this measure today, we will have our foot in the door to start taxing the pensions of all our seniors. We may end up taxing pensions at $10,000 or $5,000, or maybe at no threshold at all. If we return to the governor's original proposal of $37,500, it will be harmful to our low-income seniors. The House Finance Committee has even considered a proposal to tax the minimum amount of each pension to avoid an unattractive feature of this bill, the income trigger. In other words, in this bill, those who make $99,999 are safe from pension taxation. But should they make $1 more, their pensions are taxed. The person making $100,000 will realize less income after taxes than the person making $1 less. Mr. Speaker, my point is that the fluidity of this measure is disconcerting. As I said before, seniors are quaking in their boots. I understand that the pension bill we sent to the Senate was modified to tax pensions of $100,000, not adjusted gross incomes of $100,000, which is our version, and then it was stripped. Very few people have such large pensions as $100,000, but with the income and pension figures wildly fluctuating, seniors don't know what to expect. They are at the mercy of the conference committee, and we all know that those who voted no on these bills are not allowed to serve on conference. So since I've been voting no against a pension tax on pensions, I will not be able to weigh in on this measure. Only those who have voted yes on this bill will be selected. Will the income trigger go up or down? Will the $100,000 go up or down? Will only $100,000 plus pensions be taxed? Will the first X amount of every pension get taxed? Where this elevator stops, nobody knows. This situation gives retirees absolutely no assurance of safety. For this reason and for many others, I ask the conference committee to totally strip the pension tax out of this bill and any other bill. Join me in voting no on this and other measures. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Representative Thielen, followed by McKelvey.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I rise to speak against the bill also.
Please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, there's also a very serious constitutional defect in the bill. Whether or not the constitutional challenge would be upheld, no one could say. I can remember arguing the super ferry issue and going back and forth and being assured by the majority party that the super ferry legislation wasn't special legislation, and we all know how that turned out. So on this, the Department of the Attorney General has stated that Part 1 of the proposed House Draft 1 could be the subject of a constitutional legal attack. Should this bill become law in this proposed form, it could be challenged and the outcome would not be certain. It could take years to litigate the issue through the Hawaii court system and subject the state to refund lawsuits if the bill is found unconstitutional. At the least, it should be made prospective, but the better way to deal with this is to just strip the pension tax out of the bill. And given our track record on other measures, no one would feel secure that their pension would be safe, because I'm sure that future legislatures would dip down further and further until every pension is taxed by this body. Thank you.
Thank you very much.